Good morning and welcome. We are now in our second installation of our manager series, and we're going to be looking at urgent alerts this morning. Good morning, good afternoon, depending upon where you are. My name is Tara Tibbs. I manage our educator community, and I am just excited to have you all perhaps back or joining us for the first time for this series. Some of you, I hope all, might have noticed as you were coming into this session that I have a giveaway. If you've been in any of my sessions before, you know I love to give things away. And so today, our giveaway for those, now tune into this part, for those who comment, reflect about anything you've learned or anything you want to share with our community in the thread. And I'm going to show you how to get there. Okay, so first I'm going to put in our chat the community address for our EDU page. We can just we'll be in chat. And then I'm going to show you how you can win or be a part of the drawing to win our interactive pin display. Okay, so here we are. This is our education page, and this is where you're going to find out about all things education within our the ViewSonic ecosystem. And so as these banners roll through, you'll find out about CEUs and being an ambassador, our community, our district spotlight. This site will also give you a place to go right into our community. If you click here, this will take you into the community. 1 second, it's loading. And here we are. And so now we're in our USA and Canada community. And this is really for you all. This is an opportunity to connect, collaborate, and contribute, connecting with your peers nationally and internationally, collaborating, whether it be questions, comments, lesson plans, ideas. We want to hear about it and we want you to join the conversation. And so to do that, you would just come here to sign in. Signing in is super quick, particularly if you already have a My View Board account, because it is single sign-on. So it'll be able to find that and log you right in. You know that you are in because you will see either your picture or your initials in the top right corner. But what the community is becoming, it's my goal to make this an added layer of support for our ecosystem. So what you'll see across the top, we have a product forums. We have, of course, regional forums. So remember, you can connect with your peers internationally as well. And then we have our learning center. To participate in our drawing at the end for the interactive pin display, you will need to come here, okay? And when you click on this banner, it will take you to the thread. All you need to do is put your thoughts here. Join the conversation. Like I said, add a reflection, comment, just drop it in here. I'm going to use the comments, the names that I see here to put into my wheel of names so that I can spin to see who will get our interactive pin display. Okay, so without any further ado, I'm going to have Haley come in because I know that's what you're wanting to learn more about, urgent alerts. I will circle back to the community again at the end so that I can show you more pieces of it, and then I can also see how many of you have had a chance to actually go ahead and join the conversation. So Haley, here she is.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all today. Like Tara mentioned, I'm product manager here at ViewSonic, and we have a lot of fun content for you today. This is a very important topic that is going to be covered by us today. So just want to start off by mentioning that we want to make sure that you have all the information that you need to feel best supported by us. But we also want to share this content with you so that you know the offerings that Manager provides for you and your devices. But first and foremost, let's get started. So we are going to be talking about Manager specifically. And of course, there's a couple of things that I want to talk about. And don't worry if you missed our previous webinar. I am going to walk us through a very short introduction to ViewSonic Manager. This was the topic of the last webinar that we had, but again, in case you missed it, I'll just do a brief refresher if you're unfamiliar with the product. And then I'm going to go into a couple of items. So we're going to talk about how you can group and manage your devices. So this includes your interactive panels and your commercial displays across the campus. And then I'm going to do an introduction to this CAP messaging. This is really the meat of our presentation today and something that's going to be a really key takeaway for you all today. And of course, once you have this introduction, then you're going to better understand how you're going to be able to broadcast your urgent alerts. So let's get started into a brief overview of Manager. So as promised, this is our brief overview of Manager. This is a free device management software platform that we provide complimentary already on your devices. So if you are already using ViewSonic products such as the interactive displays, commercial displays, even the direct view LEDs, you might have seen those on some of our past webinars or even on our website. These products already have Manager pre-downloaded on them. This allows you to be able to access and control your devices no matter where you are. So you are going to be able to remotely manage these devices without having to be physically in front of a panel, either touching the screen and going into settings or using a separate remote. So Manager allows you to have this cloud-based access that allows you to access things like diagnostic information to make sure that the health of the panel is working as you would expect. But you can also do things like schedule startup and shutdown commands, and you can also send commands on demand. So that can be like changing the volume or sending a basic text-based broadcast message. One of the great examples that I like to use is, for example, someone in the school administrative office could send a message to a display, either about a reminder or as simple as, please send Tara to the office. So with that, they're able to get the information directly to the panel of their choice. The teacher's able to easily remove that message and get back to teaching without it interfering too much. Now, this is the complimentary version. In a couple webinars from now, we are going to be talking about the advanced version, which is an optional paid service that allows you to have access to more features, such as scheduling jobs or scheduling commands in advance, or sending broadcasted messages using video or images. So if you're interested in that, that is going to be coming up in our next webinar. But for what we're going to be talking about today, it's everything that's already included in the complimentary version. So when we're talking about Manager, there are so many different things that Manager can do. So what I've done here is I've included an image of the different products that we offer. So you might know ViewSonic for our hardware, but by joining our community webinars, you're able to see that we have software that also supports these hardware and provides more interaction and collaboration for you, your students, and the rest of the staff. So when you're sending a message through Manager, or even just a simple command, you have the option to put the devices into groups. This makes it a lot easier to manage, and especially for your IT teams who are managing the products, they're able to choose if they want to send that message directly to a single device or to a group. So some common ideas of how this might look: you could choose to select the devices all that are in one building or to the entire campus. So depending on how your school is structured or organized, you have the flexibility to really send the messages and commands to these panels depending on what works for you. So if you have classrooms that are all on the same floor of a multi-level building, you could break up the groups based on that. So this is a really strong feature that allows you to have the ability to have finer control and communication to the panels. The topic that we're covering today is very important, and it is something that we want to make sure that we provide the information to you, and so that you understand how the different groups and panels are affected with this information that is so important and vital to your students, your staff, and to you. So this is my introduction to urgent alerts. Something that you may already know about Manager, if you're currently using it right now, is that we do provide an urgent alert option directly in the Manager console. One of the things that I want to mention with that is that that was one of our very first products that we have released or launched within Manager that allows you to send a message directly to a screen on demand with a red background to get that attention. But one of the things that we're going to be talking about today is a fairly new introduction to Manager that we've been doing for the last year or so, is our introduction of our third-party partnerships. So when we're talking about urgent alerts, this can range from just simple fire drills for preparation, or can be in a moment where we need to keep everyone informed about a very particular topic to keep everyone's safety in check, or even just to keep everyone informed. So that's where our next portion comes in, and this is our CAP messaging. And so I'm glad that we are able to use this into my view board, because I want to show you a couple of tools that we are able to offer within our My View board as well, is this ability to edit presentations. So we're getting kind of a twofer for us today in our presentation. But what I want to show you outside of my view board, what we do in our normal webinars, is really focus on this key component of Manager. So if you're already familiar with our other products, this is just a great introduction, and also another feature that is going to improve your teaching experience and also just your comfort levels with using our products. So I am going to just zoom into this a little bit for us here and use our Infinite Canvas here. But CAP messaging, what is this? CAP messaging, if you are unfamiliar with it, stands for Common Alerting Protocol. This is a standard in the industry. It's a very used and popular product that allows us to now work with third parties to get their systems included with our panels. So what does this mean? So we have integrated with third-party mass notification partners, such as Informacast, if you're familiar with that name, but that allows us to be able to interact directly with these manufacturers and also these producers of this very important feature that allows us to rely on their expertise to also receive these important messages. So this is different than the urgent alert feature that is already in the complimentary version of Manager. But no fear, this is also still a complimentary feature that is available in Manager. You'll just reach it in a slightly different place. This is important because we want to make sure that everyone has access to this tool at your disposal at no additional fee. And we want to make sure that everyone who has our products has the opportunity to enroll in this program. So let's talk a little bit more about CAP messaging. So as I mentioned already, this is a standard in the industry. The Common Alerting Protocol allows us to use our proprietary software. So because we create our own product and our own software, we're able to have an open protocol that allows us to easily integrate in the back end. So what that means for you is that we have already made this partnership with these third parties, so there's no additional work on your end. With the complimentary license, you're going to have access to 3 things. And of course, if you are wondering throughout this whole presentation, how do you get access to Manager, we will definitely provide that detail and information to you. But one of the first things you want to do is make sure that your school or organization is set up with what we call an entity account. So once you have that entity account, you can access Manager complimentary, of course. And these 3 things are really going to allow you to use the CAP messaging to your disposal. And first and foremost, it's going to strengthen the safety standards at your school or organization. It's going to increase the visibility for these alerts to student and staff and keep everyone informed. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time talking about each one of these tools here. So I am just going to zoom in first to talk about our strengthening of our safety standards. So when we're talking about these urgent alerts, we've talked about how you're able to use Manager to remotely manage these devices from anywhere. That also means that you can send these alerts from anywhere. So this is great because you can schedule your safety preparedness drills ahead of time. And we do know that many organizations require these drills for accreditation or also just renewals of making sure that your school is up to date with the latest safety standards. And of course, you're also able to, with our partners, connect to region-wide alerts with some accounts. So that, for instance, is similar to receiving an extreme weather notice on your mobile phone. So in the same way, you would also be able to connect your third party of choice to our account and receive the messages on time. So this does require no additional steps from us on our side. There is just one area that you will go to connect to your accounts, but you will not need to pay for an additional account if you already have one set up with a third-party customer. So with that, we are going to be sharing some of our partners towards the end of this presentation, so stick around. But if you do have any particular questions about if you're using an emergency alert system already, please let us know in the Q&A. The next portion is the ability to increase visibility. So CAP messages are sent to endpoints. So in our case, the endpoints are our view boards or the interactive panels or the commercial displays. So because of those groups that I mentioned earlier, you have the option to either send those to a single device, a group of devices, or all of the devices in one. So as you're setting up in your partner of choice, you're able to use those specific groups that you've already picked out in Manager and figure out when you want to send these messages. Some of our partners include hardware to accommodate these types of drills, or you can schedule them ahead of time. So if you know you're going to have a preparedness drill, you can put that on your calendar and that will send directly and automatically to our panel. The other thing is that if you do need to send an alert on demand, you are able to connect this depending on your emergency alert service provider. If they're using something like panic buttons, or if they're using door alarms or fire alarms, those can also trigger a response. And of course, beyond just the auditory clue of the alarm going off, this is really helpful because with our endpoints as the view boards, you can imagine this adds an additional layer to provide our users and everyone who is in front of the board more information regarding the drill or the preparedness that needs to happen in the situation. And the reason for this is because you can imagine if you're using an interactive board, it can range from 55 inches, even now up to 105 inches. That's a lot of screen real estate that will allow you to be able to add detailed information. So you can add those detailed instructions directly on the board. This is particularly helpful for young learners or even for substitute teachers. If they're new to the campus and maybe this is a fire drill that they were not prepared for, this allows them to see a step-by-step plan of action that they need to take for keeping their students on track and also safe. So this can include things like your exit strategy, who to contact, and of course, when an all clear is sent out, that will also appear on the panel. So it's going to appear to all connected devices. So if you're using our commercial displays as digital signage in your hallways, in the school offices, these will also receive these messages. Another great thing, and I want to zoom out to give you some examples of these images, is that if you are used to using our emergency alert already on our panel, so beyond the emergency alert services that you use already, our urgent alert broadcast will send a bright red screen with a wall of text directly to the panels. You also have the option to include a siren if you want to add to any additional auditory clues, but this is going to provide that visual. What's great about this and different than our basic text-based broadcasted message is that a teacher or a student is not going to be able to accidentally disable the message. So what that means is that the message will stay and remain on the screen until an authorized personnel sends an all clear. So this makes sure that everyone sees the alert, is notified of it, and knows the important steps of what need to take place. So all of this comes into play when we're talking about our urgent alerts and our partnership with these emergency alert services. We want to make sure that you feel confident in using it and you get a little bit better idea of how this can provide direct messaging benefits to you, your panels, your teachers and staff that are going to need to be informed, because we do know that many schools and organizations do have a responsibility for the safety and well-being of those who are in their care. So this provides just an additional peace of mind, an additional area for people to receive these alerts, and just another way for everyone to be kept informed. So if you are interested in this program, this is a list of our existing notification partners. This includes Single Wires Informacast, Crisis Go, Alertus, Raptor Technologies, and Syntegix. As you can see that we do have a wide breadth of these emergency alert service providers. However, I have also included a list of other players in the space. So one of the things that I do want to mention and clarify for all of you here is that if your partner that you're already using, if you're using one of these services, is not listed as our current partner, the great thing is that because we own our own product and our software, we can go back to our developers and create a partnership with these other choices that allow us to interact and partner with them. We want to lean on their expertise because at the end of the day, they have invested in their resources, in their time to create a product that is going to send these alerts on time where you would expect them. In a case of a fire drill, an earthquake preparedness drill, we are in California, that is something that we do often in our schools. But wherever you are, if you need to do any other type of drill, or if there's any other type of urgent alert that needs to be sent, we want to make sure that we rely on our partners because they have really put the resources and time into making sure that these alerts are going to ascend appropriately to all of those involved. So this is something that we feel very strongly about, and we want to make sure that we are partnering with the top experts. So again, if you don't see the partner that you are currently using, please feel free to reach out to us. We are able to partner with them. We can get started on doing the back-end integration so that the next time that you want to go to Manager and set this up, it will be available for you. So that is a great thing. We have the freedom to make sure that we are working both with you, our partners, and also these third parties as well. So this is our Manager platform, but if you need additional resources, we are here to help. And I definitely want to share more about this, but if you have specific questions, love for you to place that in the Q&A if you have any additional information. But we have things like a YouTube channel that's going to provide you with tutorials, both on our hardware, but also software. So covering Manager like we've done today. But we also do have step-by-step instructions for setting up CAP messaging. So if you want to learn more about how you can get to that in the Manager portal and also do the back-end setup with our partners, we provide detailed information in the videos, but we also have brochures. So if you need more information, please let us know. Of course, if you want to learn more about how other people are using this, you've all come from our educator community. This is a great platform that allows us to interact, get best practices. You can troubleshoot together, but you're able to connect with your peers to figure out which partners they're using. If you need maybe some suggestions or recommendations, or even if you want to figure out more about how this has helped people at their school, this is a great place to go. And if you're here, you're already probably familiar with our community, and we would just welcome you to come back with any questions that you have. Start the conversation directly in our educator community. But of course, if this goes beyond just our YouTube channel or talking to your peers, and you need additional help for you or your teachers or peers, we do also offer professional development. This is going to be a customized on-site training. We do provide things like how to use the view boards, but we also do have an IT training that will teach you how to use Manager and, of course, specified to your organization's needs, especially if you want to learn more about CAP messaging and everything that was shared today. So with that, I hope you learned a little bit more about what we have to offer with CAP messaging. I am now going to transition into something that we do in all of our previous webinars. It's a little bit of a tradition around here. We think it's important to check for understanding in the true educator fashion. We want to make sure that you retained the information, that you understand it, and provide you an opportunity to get some clarity if you misunderstood something, or if we can provide a little bit more clarification and details. So I'm going to pause here. I do see a couple of questions come in, so I'm going to read that quickly, and then we're going to get started with the game. Awesome. Okay, so I do have a question from Jerry. The question is, do you have time to share more about the pre-made templates? Are there choices that let you customize the CAP messaging? So that's a great question. And yes, there are templates already with your partners. So we provide the service to send the messages as the endpoint. If you want to customize the template, that will be up to your emergency alert service provider of choice. So they provide different types of templates that can be for different ranges. So I mentioned that in California, we have earthquake preparedness, but if you want to do a fire drill, if you have a tornado watch, or anything along those lines, they would provide different types of templates with specific information. So I would definitely check in with one of those partners. When it goes to the panels, right now it's going to take over the entire screen. It's going to be a red blank background with the text, and that text is going to follow in the template from our partners. You also have the option to pair with a siren if necessary. So thank you for that question. I think we have all of the questions answered for so far. But what we're going to do is we're going to go into the game. Now, this is a very crucial and important topic that requires a lot of sensitivity from us and from you, because we know that this can be top of mind for a lot of us. So I want to make sure that you have all of your answers for this type of product. So I'm going to use this to make sure that your understanding is clear. If you have any questions, please put that in the chat. If I ask a question that you're unfamiliar with, I can go back and take time to make sure that we're all on the same page. So to get started, my very first question, and the way that I would love for all of you to participate in this game, if you're not familiar, is to go ahead and place your answer in the Q&A or the chat, whatever is available to you. From there, I'm going to get your answer, and we're going to place it directly in the game, and we'll see if we can send the bird to the finish line. So my very first question for us to make sure that we are all clear and on the same page is, can anyone tell me what CAP messaging stands for? The acronym CAP. So I'll wait for those to come in. If I don't see any responses, I will go ahead and answer the question for you. So let's see if we can get some participation to make sure that our understanding is clear. I'm just going to be checking on our chat here. What does CAP messaging stand for? Okay, looks like it's taking a little bit of time. So no worries, I will provide just a hint. So CAP messaging stands for Common Alerting Protocol. What you need to know about that is that it's just a standard. If you want to do more research, I would highly recommend looking up Common Alerting Protocol to make sure that you're getting the most up-to-date information. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and roll this dice. Again, this is a feature within my view board. If you want more information, we do have more details about that. 6, perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I have another question for you. When setting up these urgent alerts, Can you name one of our partners that is coming through? So one of our partners that allows you to send our messages or their messages directly to your endpoints. Now, this can be any of our partners. I just want to see if any of you remembered. If not, I can go back and share that page. I'm just going to be checking the chat here. And my apologies, I do see the messages coming through here. So I think there was a little bit of a delay. So you all got it right. So great job for that. My next question, I'm just going to wait for an answer here. I know there is a little bit of a delay, so sorry about that. But let's go see. Raptor, yes. Raptor is one of our partners. If you want more information, definitely recommend checking them out. If you need recommendations, I would love if you're one of our current users of this CAP messaging to share maybe your feedback of what you've experienced with these partners, either in the chat here or on our educator community. Would love to hear your feedback. And of course, if there's any improvements that we can ever do, we can work directly with our partners. So I'm just going to go ahead and spin the wheel here to figure out how many more steps and how many more questions we should look for. Okay, 2. Okay, my next question. For our setup, true or false, you can send an urgent alert to only one panel. True or false? You can only send an alert to one panel at a time. True or false? And I do see in the messages we've had a couple more questions or answers, I should say, come in. So great job to all of you there. If you want more information, we can always provide it afterwards about some of our partners. But my question right now is, as a reminder, with our broadcasted or urgent alerts, you can only send this message to one panel at a time. True or false? False. Yes, that is correct. False. You're able to create in a group depending on what makes sense for you and your users. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the dice. 5. That's great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like all of you have a pretty good grasp and understanding. I'm just going to ask a couple more to make sure that we are all on the same page. My next question is regarding manager. So I briefly mentioned this, but this is a great opportunity for you to answer for your peers if they're unfamiliar with it. But what is the first thing that you need to do to get a manager account set up? So we have a specific account name. This is going to be the starting point. So the very first thing that you will need to do to get access to manager, want to make sure that we all are aware. So this is a great opportunity for you to answer for your peers to give them a great reminder. So what is that first step to get a manager account if you have not created one in the past? So I'm going to wait for those answers to come in. I want to make sure that if you are interested in using this program, that we can get you set up right away. This is a complimentary feature that is already on your panels, and we want to make sure that you have access if this is an additional feature that you would be interested in using. So I'm going to wait just a little bit longer for this to come through. There is a specific account name that you might want to request from your ViewSonic partner. So let's see what this is. Yes, thank you, Jerry. Having an entity account, and Steve also mentioned signing up. This is true. So we want to make sure that if you are interested in using the CAP messaging, that you are able to sign up with us. So if you need more information, if you need this set up, just ask your ViewSonic rep or us at the end about how to get set up with an entity account today. So I'm just going to get this bird back to the finish line. Let's see where we end up. Back at 2. Okay, so we are going to be having a few more questions. Hopefully this is the last one and we'll all be good with our check-in here. My last question. Okay, my last question is regarding the messages. Okay, when we're talking about urgent alerts, because this is a very important and crucial topic, I would just like to hear your feedback. Can you just tell me one thing that you see as something that you would like to see improved? So this can be completely up to you. When you're imagining this type of alerting process, is there one type of feature that you would love to see be included? Or is there something that you would like to be added? I want to leave this up as a complete forum to you so that we can continue to commit to make this product better and also more effective for you and your users. So this is an open question. Provide your feedback to us. I would love to hear it. It looks like we're all good with our understanding of the system, but I would just love to get your direct feedback here. This is really important to us because that we do understand that this is also an important topic for you. So we definitely want to make sure that we provide what you would expect from a product like this, or even just keeping things all intact when we're keeping our students, staff, all of them informed. So this is an open question for all of you. I'm going to go ahead and wait for any of the responses to come through, but I am going to just send the bird home. I'm just going to roll the dice as many times as we need to get it here, because it does look like we have already had a pretty good understanding of what to expect. Oh, wow. There is a lot of dice rolls here. So this is just a game that we do often in our webinars. So definitely invite you to come back when we're doing some of our My View Board webinars. Again, our next one coming up is going to be about Manager Advanced, which is the additional upgrade. So if you're interested in how to schedule things in advance, so again, this is outside of the CAT messaging because that's going to be on the complimentary side. But if you're interested in scheduling other type of broadcasts like morning announcements, live broadcasts, things like that, stay tuned for our next webinar. So I hope with all of this that you learned a little bit more about how you can use this very crucial feature with your school setup and environment today. If you have any feedback directly regarding the product, if you have questions or want to get any more information, we'd love to hear from you. I'm going to hand it back over to Tara because she's going to be talking a little bit more about our educator community, which is a great place to provide this feedback directly to us. So thank you all for joining me. I hope, again, that you got information from the webinar today, but I'm going to go ahead and give it back over to Tara. So thank you all.
Oh, a few. Okay, so I'm just going to read them off. Thank you. I want to thank Haley again, but I thank you all for participating. I do apologize for that, for the delay, but we do want to ensure that we get your questions addressed. So the first one, I don't know, Haley, do we want to, I can definitely read them out, or question from a colleague that can't attend today. My biggest question, though, from reading about the emergency broadcast features is, does it require the ViewSonic? I'm sorry, I didn't get the whole question. Oh, there it is. Does it require the display itself to be network connected? Because the ones we use for high flex are not network connected. We connect to slot PC and don't network configure the display itself. That's from Rami. I apologize for the pronunciation.
Yes, thank you for the question. So one of the things I want to address with this is that what we have with Manager is that usually our devices are required to be online or connected to the internet. So that was the case when we first set up our partnership with these emergency alert service companies. We also wanted to connect our devices so that they would be online for when the teachers are using it in the classroom. However, we have received this feedback and we are working on some additional ways that the panels themselves will receive alerts where we are able to have a little bit more flexibility. So the great thing is that if you're already using one of these providers that we have listed here, They have the urgent alerts that go out to other types of endpoints. So the alarms, door alarms, things like that, those commands will always be sent as long as they have been configured in the school environment. So those alerts are going to go to those endpoints. So what I want to clarify is that if you have the partnership set up with one of those companies, you are still going to receive the alerts, even if your panels, so the view boards, are not connected online. So that is just an additional endpoint. However, because of feedback like this, we want to include an option or some type of feature that would allow it to not necessarily need to be online for this to occur. So wanted to be very clear there. So even if you're using us as an endpoint, it is not going to affect your other alerts. But we are working on something that will include an additional way from our view boards to receive those messages. So thank you for that question.
And Jerry has a question. It's an urgent alert. When we have sent urgent messaging in the past and then ended the broadcast of the urgent message, I would like for the previous job to continue to run without stopping. For example, in our high school cafeterias, we would like the alert specific students for an early dismissal, doctor, dentist, etc., and have the slide deck or media continue after the student has arrived in the office. That would be awesome. Okay, I think that was an answer to your question in terms of the feedback you were looking for your.
Yes, this is really great feedback. Thank you. This is something that I can take back to our development team and put in some type of logic behind the alert so that it will resume the previous broadcast. So this is really great information. Thank you for sharing that.
Awesome. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Haley. Wonderful. So I don't see any other questions that have come in. Again, I want to thank you all for your participation. I really appreciate Haley for sharing this sensitive but very important information with us. I want to take us back to the community here. Let me come here. And okay, so I have Jerry. Thank you, Jerry, for putting a comment in here. And you guys are going to make it real easy for Jerry to win if he is the only person that has put a new comment in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow this thread to stay open for another hour, whereby then all the names or all the comments rather that I see, I'll make sure that I put into our wheel of names, and then I will draw to see who gets to have our interactive pin display. Okay. Since we're in the community, as promised, I just wanted to make sure you were familiar with the resources that are provided. For example, in this product forum here, notice when I click on the little caret, it will take me right into our manager product form, whereby I can go directly into knowledge-based specific articles around the manager. I can go into videos and post. So know that this is here and available for you. Also, I want to take you into our Learning Center, which you will be able to find more webinars that Haley has hosted and others within the community. It's another spot to get into our knowledge base, as well as finding more resources at your disposal. So again, as the community continues to grow, and as well as even evolve, I want to ensure that it is truly a forum that supports your needs. If you have been in the community for any length of time, you know that It has become also another support channel. We love to hear from you all as far as questions, comments. And what happens is surely you'll get folks from the community who will respond, but then also if there is a very specific technical question, you'll also see that we'll ensure that someone from our customer support team responds as well. So again, wanting to ensure as we're growing and evolving as a community that we're truly supporting your needs. You can always reach out to me if you've got questions, comments, or ideas, suggestions. I want to hear from you because again, this community is for you. So I want to ensure that you're being heard. Okay. If there are not any additional questions or comments, like I said, am going to leave this thread open for another hour. I am hopeful that we'll get a few more comments so that I can definitely be shipping out an interactive pin display to someone. As Haley mentioned, our third installation of this series will happen next month. It will be at the end of the month so that we can provide you with information around Manager Advanced. Okay, I see a question. I could not create a image. Oh. Account on that site, it would chime. So I have definitely seen that before. Rainy, hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly. Sometimes the districts have firewalls, and I know that has been an issue in the past. I don't know if you're able to send this website so that they can approve it so that it can get through the firewall. Another way to try to connect is when you go to, I don't know if you've installed my ViewBoard. But you can go to your My ViewBoard dashboard and you'll find the community logo here, and you can click and see if that will allow you to bypass the site that I sent. Hopefully that works. I would love for you to join the community. Reach out to me directly. I'm going to make sure my email address, I'll put that in the chat. If you're still having problems, and then I'll make sure that gets escalated to our team just to ensure that it's not something on our end. But I will say that most times I see that it is, there's a firewall district issue internally. So let me know if that, that sidestep works from the My ViewBoard dashboard. Anyone else have a question or comment? Again, if that link did not work, I just want to I want to just remind you that here you can try. I would try the My ViewBoard, and that's just myviewboard.com, and it will. You can try going in that way. Okay. I'm going to assume we're good. Please, again, reach out to me directly if you're having any other problems or concerns, and I would love to hear from you. Thank you again, Haley. Thank you all for participating. We do hope to see you next month and on other webinars and digital workshops that we're hosting through the community. So once you join the community, the cool thing is you get notifications about when they're happening. And don't forget to drop a comment in the thread. So hopefully you can be a part of our drawing. Thank you so much and have a good rest of your day. Bye.